I just want everyone to know that no matter what has happened to you in life, no matter what, like the worst possible things, life is beautifully designed in a way that you can pick yourself up, learn from it, and instead of letting it crush you, let it make you wise. One of the things I love is the lotus symbolism, which is the roots are in literally the muck and the mud, and it comes through this dirt and water and is the most beautiful, perfect blossom. And I truly believe that is what the human experience is. And all of the study and understanding I have tells me that's absolute truth. The human experience, we are here to experience challenge, difficulty, and grow through it and blossom into something beautiful.
I am so excited to bring on a guest that I had on That Entrepreneur Show, but throughout that talk, nervous system kept coming up. And of course, that has a whole mental health side of things, how we can control it, regulate it. And with that, Naomi, thank you so much for joining us here on a mental health break this time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this conversation again. Love talking
Likewise.
about this stuff.
Yeah, she was traveling last time. She's back home today, so we've got her at her home base. And everyone, I'm going to start out with something different because she was traveling, right, doing so many things. What are some mental health tips and tricks you picked up along the way for as you're traveling to not just be completely overwhelmed?
Yeah, well, I definitely think keeping your system grounded and hydrated, for me, it's really planning in a way that I don't get really dysregulated when I travel. I think there's a couple things that I do. One is I prepare for the journey well. And if I've prepared well, which I always do, then I can totally consciously surrender that this is going to be an adventure. And whatever comes, it's going to be fun and interesting. So if there's delays or whatever it is that people get super worked up over, I really choose to treat it more as an adventure and an opportunity. And it always is. I make sure to hydrate. I take good electrolytes. I try not to drink too much caffeine. I don't eat sugar and I don't eat airplane food or crappy things. I really try to stay with real food, real hydration, a little bit of caffeine, but not too much. And then I also honestly meditate on the plane. So I really always just pay attention to my system and how to keep it regulated and balanced and charged up. That's how I handle travel.
I love that. You're talking a lot about being very intentional with the things you're doing each day. And of course,
Yeah,
it's not easy to just tackle all of those things if you aren't doing any right now. So do
that's
not
true.
feel overwhelmed. Take on one at a time because all of those were great pieces of advice from meditating, right, to all the little things she said. And when they come together, they are just more mental health tools that you have. And that's exactly what I was hoping were with that question. So thank you so much, Naomi. And welcome back to a mental health break, the number one podcast to help you realize you are never alone. Thank you for keeping this a top 5% global show. And please remember to subscribe to stay current, but also please share this episode after you hear the amazing testimonial that Naomi will bring to us today. And we're brought to you by livingprooftbicoaching.com for all brain injury survivors, families, and loved ones to find their way back to a fulfilling life. But thank you for that preview, how you've gotten started. And again, nervous system, it's something that you really made me pay attention to on our last talk because I know our audience here and I know that we all battle different and unique things. So I'd love to just put the ball in your court, some things, some findings you've had as you really focused on the nervous system.
Okay, thank you. Well, you had mentioned earlier to talk a little bit about my story of when I first noticed the nervous system. And I would say that as a young woman, I would say that I really started noticing that I would be so in my own head and in my own psychological and emotional process. It would be like a really gorgeous day and there would be butterflies and gardens, and I wouldn't really be able to fully experience that because I would be really caught up in my own mental process. And I started to notice, obviously, depending on what food I ate, and also at that time, that was a really long time ago, I played a little bit with recreational drugs, honestly. Not a lot, but a little bit. And what I noticed is that the impact it had on my nervous system was like, and I didn't even know what to call it. I didn't know what the nervous system was. Okay. But I know how I felt. I felt really frazzled, really kind of wiped out, like I got hit by a truck. There was a lot of different things that I would notice with food, with staying up all night, with doing different things that really made me feel super imbalanced or I guess frazzled. I mean, and then wiped out. And I was young, right? So depending on where people are at, I'm sure everyone has experienced, like, even what you said about travel. Part of the reason travel is so dysregulating is because we're going from usually one time zone to another quickly, and our system has to keep up. And I just came from the other side of the world, and it took me about a week to fully regulate back to the time zone that I'm in. So all of that is like, how does the nervous system actually feel? What does that actually mean? And when you feel like stressed, frazzled, discombobulated, there's different ways people experience it. So again, I didn't really learn this language until recently. I would say maybe in the last 8 years. But when I started meditating in 1997, actually, I started really learning to regulate my nervous system consciously. So, yeah, long answer, but
Well, thank you so much for the vulnerability and the honesty. Everyone, remember, you are never alone. We're going to all go through these different things and through
yeah,
great, courageous folks like Naomi today. We're going to hear stories and resonate with that just a little bit. And in life, things are going to seem like the end of the world. They're going to seem so hard right now, but remembering to take a deep breath, doing little things. She has found, it seems, solace in meditating. That seems to be such a go-to tool, doing it before many folks, right? In 1997,
yeah,
I'm someone who doesn't consistently meditate. I have it in my tool. I'm a big walker, like my big thing, even after this call. And I think we talked about this on that entrepreneur show we spoke. I'll put that in the show description, everyone, for you to learn that side of her world. I'll hop off the computer and I'll walk
yeah,
to decompress. My nerve, I need it, right? And as you're talking about traveling, it was India, correct?
yeah.
Right? So you're there. When I was out of the country, I come back again, it takes a week. I drive from Tampa back to Fort Lauderdale. It takes me 2 days to even get back to where I was because I'm so systematic and regimented
Hmm.
during those work days where any little curveball to it kind of throws mine off. Can you relate to that a little bit?
I understand it. I have really worked to make my nervous system super adaptable. But yes, I definitely understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think that through trying to be mindful, I should say, similar to what you've shown with all the tools you have where you need to do in order to feel good, I think we can
Yeah.
all get there. And now, what are some takeaways you had from this trip as you came back? Now, I'd love to shed a bit of light about some of the work you were doing over there.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Honestly, for me, because I started exploring, I would say, Vedic knowledge and meditation, because just really quick, like I was thinking I was going to be a doctor. And then I was like in university at this medical college and realizing like this is not my jam. It doesn't feel right to me. And I really want to help people feel better in like a different way and truly take away suffering, but in a just a more like deeply personal way, a more connected way, not through like drugs and tests and things. Yeah. So I was like, what the heck? And I ended up through a couple years, like discovering this former NASA scientist who was talking about the energy system and how like cancer and different diseases are not just physical, right? But they're also psychological, emotional, energetic. And so that made a lot of sense to me. Like it turned a lot of light bulbs on for me. And so I went and explored that. Lucky for me, part of my first teacher was like, you're going to be a healer slash healthcare practitioner. You have to work on your own system and you have to meditate. So he taught us a genuine meditation. And also in that first school, I learned about medicines from all over the world. including Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and all these more holistic systems, which include the nervous system, the energetic system. And Ayurveda is really cool. That's the most oldest form of holistic medicine in the world. And its ancient texts it talks about surgeries and techniques that only just got basically everything Vedic, including meditation and all these nervous system techniques, mental health, breath, and healthcare are all now being validated 5, 6, 7,000 years later by science right now, finally. So lucky for me, in 1997, almost 30 years ago, I started studying this stuff. And so, yeah, I really have always been deeply attracted to India because of Ayurveda. Actually, I had 3 autoimmune diseases and some, I would say, major dysregulation in my nervous system, and in which also, by the way, is very connected to your gut, right? So, yeah, for me, I learning about Ayurveda, learning what my unique constitution was, what foods actually work for me, and just exploring that and working with how then that impacted my mental health, how that impacted my nervous system regulation on a daily basis. And if you look at Ayurveda and even yogic philosophy, Chinese, the way they look at the segmental part of the day, circadian rhythm, the way you are in your lifestyle based on your constitution, it's really regulating to the nervous system. So all of that said, it was huge for me. I really believe it saved my life, honestly. I'm 51 years old. Nobody would know that unless I told them. So why is that? And if you test me, I'm like really the age of 30 biologically. And that doesn't have to do with the traditional biohacking of Western. It honestly has to do with the ways of the East that I learned. So for me, going to India on many levels is very healing and expanding to my nervous system. Because let me tell you something, when you get off the plane, it is literally a different world. And even the way they drive, they all have a history of colonization. There's a very deep thing there, but India is amazing. And if you look beyond the surface, there's true and deep magic. And what I try to do in India, what I do in India is I consciously open myself up to not lead with my beliefs, my filter, what I like, what I think is right, what I think is clean, what I think is proper. And I just let that reality inform me. And honestly, that has expanded my nervous system capacity in incredible ways.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing all of this great tools. I knew that would happen if we asked her back on this podcast. Stick around for a little longer, everyone. We'll get you your contact info. And thank you for having the courage to share that you're struggling with a few autoimmune challenges. Would you
Yeah.
mind sharing what you feel comfortable in case there is someone else tuning in today who says, Naomi, this is me. Thank you for sharing this.
Essentially, from a very young age, I had digestive issues. And then what happened to me, and I think a lot of people have experienced this, and maybe they don't know it, or maybe they do, but certain physiologies have MTHFR mutation, which now people look at. And basically, it just means you don't methylate and you don't detoxify very fast. So, based on the world that we live in and just what has happened to our food supply and all the things, we could talk about this for years, but I had some digestive stuff from a very young age. So I learned not to eat wheat, not to eat yeast. That was one of the first things the Ayurvedic doctor told me not to do. And a lot of the things, so I had endometriosis and then a precursor to Crohn's or IBS. And so, because one of the things that happens for women, I don't know how many women listen to this, but
A lot.
when you have digestive stuff where your system doesn't clear toxins, they start to accumulate in the body, not just for women, for everyone. Okay. And then one of the things that happen to women, because our reproductive system is very sensitive to toxin accumulation. So a lot of PCOS and endometriosis are generally things that are starting to accumulate in that toxins that we can't get rid of. So they start to accumulate in those systems. So that's what happened to me. And it was amazing because going to Western medicine, they said I'd have to be on medication the rest of my life, or I would have to get surgery at 20 something to have a hysterectomy, which is insane.
Yeah.
And honestly, at that point, because of Ayurvedic herbs, diet, and lifestyle, I have no symptoms anymore. So I've been symptom free for a long time. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. That makes me smile because I see you smiling and how passionate you are, not just about all the great things she brought here to a mental health break, but her personal life, her professional life. Again, that entrepreneur show interview will be in the episode description. And now that you're back in America, you mentioned that you found great ways to take control of your nervous system, right? Where these flights and these things, you're staying on top. What are some things you're looking forward to now as we record this? We're releasing this here in early summer.
Oh, well, I have some really cool events coming up in the US. I'm going to support a really big transformational event as a volunteer. And then in June, I'll be in Texas for 10 days. I'm actually, again, working on my nervous system, taking a embodied facilitators course right now so that I can facilitate really powerful transformational in-person retreats. Now, I can do that now,
Yeah.
but I am a master coach. I wouldn't say I'm a master speaker at this point yet, only because my nervous system gets a little shaky
Yeah.
around presenting to really large and especially super informed crowds, meaning Harvard or whatever. And it's not that I don't have the capacity or the knowledge. I do. It's just that I have to teach my nervous system that it's safe. And so that's a lot of our work expanding in life is about that, isn't it?
Well, keep up the great work. The ambition is certainly infectious right here through the screen. So I can't wait for everyone to stick around just a few seconds longer. We're going to get her contact info, how you can find these events. But before I let you go, I always like to, if there's time, ask each guest for a piece of advice to someone who may be tuning in today, viewing on, listening on, who is really going through a tough time and needs a fresh
Mm.
perspective, a fresh voice.
I just want everyone to know that no matter what has happened to you in life, no matter what, like the worst possible things, life is beautifully designed in a way that you can pick yourself up, learn from it, and instead of letting it crush you, let it make you wise. One of the things I love is the lotus symbolism, which is the roots are in literally the muck and the mud, and it comes through this dirt and water and is the most beautiful, perfect blossom. And I truly believe that is what the human experience is. And all of the study and understanding I have tells me that's absolute truth. The human experience, we are here to experience challenge, difficulty, and grow through it and blossom into something beautiful and offer the world our gifts. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. But just know that no matter where you are, you absolutely can take control of your experience by taking care of yourself, by learning about yourself, and by using the real tools such as nature and breath and life to pick yourself up and make your life into something truly beautiful, no matter what.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for those kind words to everyone out there. I hope that reminds you are never alone. There's a lot of great tools in your tool chest. We learned a few today. What works for some won't for everyone. So I hope you at least give those a try. You've got amazing resources in your corner, like the two of us today. So please remember to subscribe to stay current and share with a friend who would appreciate and needs the value that Naomi shared. Where can we find you online, Naomi?
I'm on naomiscottcoaching.com. And I have some free resources on naomiscottcoaching.com/resources. And also, I'm publishing every week on Substack and Medium and LinkedIn. And you can just reach out to me. And the biggest tool, because we are a human system, okay? And what we need to thrive and to have mental health is sunlight, fresh air, real food, and real sleep. And honestly, connection, play, meaningful work, and meditation is a very essential aspect to refreshing And our brain, especially in the digital world where we're in front of computers all day, we have to allow our body to go through a natural process.
Mm.
Just like you need sleep, food, and going to the bathroom every day, you also need meditation. Otherwise, your body is going to start to accumulate stress in a certain kind of way. So that's really huge. And I really hope that everyone takes advantage of this because the science shows it now.
Yeah.
And if we really want to balance, it's not that hard. We don't need a ton of medication. Some people need medication. We
Well,
don't need a ton of medication. We need real things that help the system balance.
well, thank you so much again for all you brought to the show today. And everyone, I don't know what you're waiting for. Be sure to head over there to her site, check out all the great work she's doing. My name is Vincent A. Lansing. And again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to keep the show a top 5% global series from Listen Notes. And with that, we're signing off today from Idaho, here down to Tampa. Thank you so much, Naomi.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastsbylancy@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lansing. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.